You hire with heart. You hire people that maybe they don't have the best education. Maybe they're not a 4-year degree guy, but they have want to. They have whatever it takes attitude. That was our motto back in the early days, whatever it takes. I want people that are going to stick it out.
Right.
I want to know who I'm going to go take into that foxhole. And I'll let you make your mistake. I will correct you. And if I hired right, if I picked right, you don't want to disappoint me.
Welcome to the How to Scale Commercial Real Estate Show. Whether you are an active or passive investor, we'll teach you how to scale your real estate investing business into something big.
Robert Martinez is the only two-time winner of the NAA Independent Rental Owner of the Year. Rockstar Capital currently manages 4,849 total units across 24 apartment communities. Robert, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Absolutely. The pleasure is mine, Robert. There are 3 questions I ask every guest who comes on the show. In 90 seconds or less, where did you start? Where are you now? And how did you get there?
Man, I'm just a kid from a border town, and I went on and had that middle-class life that my mom and dad had. And I went on to college, and again, more mentors telling me to have that kind of life. And it wasn't until one of my bosses started monkeying with my commission plan that I decided to look around and try to find a way to offset that money. I stumbled on business radio, which led me into a real estate club. I made a $10,000 investment in my education, and that changed my life. That $10,000 turned into today a portfolio worth $675 million, raised on the backs of $180 million of private investment capital. All retail money, no family offices, no single check writers. To my credit, I've become a 2-time national apartment owner of the year. Our company has earned 19 city, state, and national apartment association awards. And in my time, my other feather in my cap is that I return a lot of money. I've returned $130 million of my investors' money back to them in the last 10 years. And that's been achieved through distributions and 100% refinance events.
Wow, that's fantastic. I love that. Tell me this, what does your company do? I mean, is it all multifamily? What is that the single thing you guys invest in?
Yeah, so we started out investing in B and C assets, value add deals. So basically it's me versus you. I think I can do a better job than you. So one of our hallmarks was replacing the air conditions right away, day one, all of them, because the number one reason why people move out is air conditions, and the number one maintenance headache is air conditions, right? So I wanted to make sure that we took care of that, and that was the secret to success for us, and that helped us grow our company. So we've transitioned more recently in years to Class A properties. I learned during the COVID that I had almost no delinquency in the Class A's that I had, so I've doubled my Class A output from COVID. Selling some of my B and C's because I think as times go on, inflation, whatever, it's going to be harder for my B and C's. So I get rid of some of my older ones, the harder ones to run. And now I'm ready for this next event that's going to come in 23, which I don't think will be as bad as what I went through in 08, 09, 2010. But I think you are going to see some deals go on sale artificially. You only lose money in real estate when you run out of time or money. And I think with interest rates doubling, and I'm exposed to it too, but we have reserves, but I don't have anything coming due this year. And that's the big one. People have deals coming due and they're buying stuff at 4% cap rates, and now they're chasing 6 and 7% cap rates. So, as long as the interest rates keep moving forward, cap rate has to go with them, and they're going to be upside down. So you're going to be able to get some deals on sale. I think that's why you see BlackRock and these other guys, even though they've been hurt by the interest rate exposure, they're raising giant gobs of money. Them, JP Morgan, all of them, Cardone, I just saw he's putting $150 million rescue fund together, right? And he's going to buy deals. They're all going to buy deals on sale, because I think what goes up with the rates, like the way they have the last 7-8 months, will go down fast too. But there's going to be a period of time where it's going to sit there. I say probably 9 months, 6 months, and you're going to see rates go back down because they cooled off the economy too much.
Yeah, and it's hard to say. It's funny, but you're the third person today to say that, not the same thing, but in more or less words, the same thing. And it's pretty interesting. I think the last person they called it. People are all familiar with the cash out refi, but soon enough we're going to be having cash in refis. And it's going to be, you're going to be forced to sell. And so that's going to be opportunity there in the marketplace. Of course, certainly don't wish it on anybody, but it's just an economic.
No, it's a market. It's something that nobody in the market today has ever seen.
Right.
Like this, what's occurring with the Fed, nobody has seen that ever. I've yet to meet one person that was around at any point where the Fed did what they did throughout 2022, popping rates up, in such a short amount of time. So to me, it was artificial. To me, there's a motive to do it. And I think they can't keep it there. They're going to have to come right back down. And I think those that survive, because that's what it is. We're all putting a bag over our head. We're all checking to see who's going to pass out first. And the one that doesn't pass out will be left to pick up the pieces. And I think you're going to be picking up deals that are significantly less than what they were. Because remember, the rents didn't change.
Right.
You might even still see rent growth, but the cap rates changed, which means the deal is worth less. So I can only borrow this amount of money. Right. So it's gonna change it up. So I think, and then that's what's gonna happen. You have a slowdown, which is what's gonna happen. You're gonna have a slowdown with building and construction. Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna have a ramp up again, just like what happened in recession. They kill building construction starts. We already had a shortage of housing.
Right.
But now look who's buying all the housing. It's the BlackRocks. It's the big dogs. They're buying it. They know what they're doing. This is a big, larger plan that no one's talking about yet.
Right.
They did show that they're taking the hit. I believe just like the way the pharmaceuticals blew up because of 2020 and vaccines and all that junk that went with it. I think the financials are going to blow up right now. I mean, some of my debt is doubled, right? My debt service is doubled in some cases. So I'm paying $100,000. Now I'm paying $200,000. Some deals I was paying $200,000. Now I'm paying $400,000 a month, right? Like, where's that going?
Right.
It's going to the bank.
Right.
Nothing changed for them.
Nothing.
So I think it's their year to get fat the way pharmaceuticals did. I think there's a bigger play at stake here, and you got to survive.
What are you guys doing on the debt side right now, maybe that you weren't doing a year or 2 years ago?
Well, right now we're not doing anything on acquisitions at all. I think it's stupid. I think you're a fool if you're buying deals right now, because every time the rates go up, your deal goes down in value. Right. And it's going to go up again. I mean, what is it, December? There's another one coming. Yeah. There's another one coming in the spring. Now, what I'm hearing from my mentors is that it may go slower after that, or it may not be any more after the spring, right? But every time they move up, it changes the values.
Right.
It changes the values. So why would you buy a deal that's going to go down in value? It's like buying a car that's depreciating in value overnight, right? Why would you do that? Your investors are smart. They're going to figure that out. So I don't think you should do a deal. I think you should wait until financing comes back around. It'll be fine. So we're just making sure right now that we're focusing on operations. I brought back some guys on my team that were real killers for me in the past. These are like guys that know every detail on their property. And so now it's making sure that I train the management company to do it the way I used to do when I ran my own businesses, my own management company, which again, that's only happened 90 days ago when I decided to get away. And I did it so that I can get into scaling. Right. And I can play more of a puppet master role. I don't want to deal with people. Real estate's easy. People are difficult. I don't want to deal with benefits. I don't want to deal with more problems, more people, more problems. I have a 10-person team right now. We had a great Christmas party on Saturday, and I felt I knew everybody's story.
Wow.
And if I know everybody's story, then a piece of me, a piece of my personality, a piece of my expectation and culture is going to flow onto them. But when I was up to 130 6 months ago, I don't know everybody.
Right.
And I didn't hire everybody. I hired every one of these people here. So they represent me. They fit me.
Right? I love that.
And that's how it was in the beginning days at Rockstar. It wasn't until I got larger that I couldn't be part of the hiring process. So now that I know what I know, I'm like, okay, I've got scale now. Now I'm going to pay. I'm going to bring in the very best that I can, people that I hired, not somebody else. I want to hear somebody to say, like I'm just hiring a guy right now to potentially be a financial person for me. And he comes from the mortgage broker land, right? And he said to me something that I always say to people. He goes, look, I'm well aware I have to kill what I'm going to eat at night. I'm like, yes, that is what I want to hear. Because that's what I used to be, a sales guy. I was commission based, and I had to kill what I was going to eat at night, or my family didn't eat. And when I heard him say that to me, I'm like, dude, where have you been? Like, you're hired. Let's figure out a number, because that's what I want. I want that kind of attitude and mindset on my team. I want killers all around me.
That I've not heard that here on the show yet. I want killers all around me. That's probably the most intriguing statement I've heard here yet. But I think that's absolutely great. Tell me this, just for the if I can get the timeline right of your company. You start out, you're building a company. At some point, you say, hey, we're going to bolt on a property management company. We're going to do property management in-house. You grow it up to 120 people on your property management side. And then 6 months ago, you say, you know what? We're done with that. We're now going to outsource that to a third-party property manager. Is that right?
Yeah, more or less. I've always started out with property management. I quit my six-figure day job and I went straight into managing. I sat in that chair. I leased apartments. I managed the make-readies. I learned the rehab. My career started in January of '07. I had my first management company with a partner. That's why I'll never do partnerships again, because you cannot have two heads making decisions. It's got to be one person. So he and I fell out in March of 2011. Rockstar Capital was born. I've gone on to own over 8,000 apartment units, but I've done management every single step of the way. So it's my personality, my culture, what I want for this company. And what happened is, and I had people like that in 2020, I lost my number one. She went off to do different things, and we started to lose some culture. So the last 24 months is I'm trying to take myself out and try to find deals and try to find new markets and build relationships. I brought on people internally that weren't me. Because if they were me, they'd be sitting in my chair, and they weren't me. They brought on their bad habits, their processes, their failed ideas into my company. And I realized about 6 months ago, because I can't keep growing and do these guys' jobs. So you know what? What is my biggest weakness right now? It's too much. It's got too big. I'm starting over. I don't want to do this anymore. I know what needs to be done. I know what the standards and expectations are. So I'm going to go get the 800-pound gorilla, and I'm going to let them oversee it. But I'm going to inject into those key people that run that company, my personality, my expectations. So that's what I'm doing now. Now I have, I have weekly calls, sometimes twice a week with them. We go through numbers. I have my asset team, which are basically former regional, and they're going to their sites and they're overseeing. They're making sure that they're doing what they need to be doing. What does that mean? That means walking the property. That means taking pictures. I don't want anything unsightly. I don't want to see, trash everywhere. I don't want to see graffiti on the fencing. I don't want to see, sheetrock damage in the gym or the washrooms. I want to make sure units are to a certain standard. I want to make sure that the leasing agents wake up and they stand up. They're not showing up in sandals. I caught one in sandals. Done. You're written up. That's unacceptable, because that's what you're doing when I'm not around. What does my property look like when I'm not around? If I'm walking it today and you don't know that I'm supposed to be here, this is what it looks like every single day. I'm sorry. If you're wearing sandals for my mystery shopper, you're wearing sandals for everybody. You think it's okay, but here's the problem. Somebody who you work for thinks it's okay too.
Right.
And so does that person that works for them. So my whole thing is I'm going to have a come to Jesus meeting with the management team. I was like, this is a reflection of you. You're a reflection of me. So I'm going to instruct you. I'm going to educate you, and I'm going to correct you to do it my way. And my hope is that if you're the right person, you will teach the people underneath you to do it the right way, because this is a whole reflection of you, and that's not who I am.
How do you empower people to, and I get it, building a company around the way that you want things done. I love that. That's fine. That's great. But how do you empower other people to take on ownership and lead without micromanaging?
You hire with heart. You hire people that maybe they don't have the best education. Maybe they're not a 4-year degree guy, but they have want to. They have whatever it takes attitude. That was our motto back in the early days, whatever it takes. I want people that are going to stick it out. Right. I want to know who I'm going to go take into that foxhole. And I'll let you make your mistake. I will correct you. And if I hired right, if I picked right, you don't want to disappoint me. Right. You want to do it right. So you'll learn. And if you do it wrong again, then we'll have a conversation on why you did it wrong. When I had a call today, I was there dealing with somebody who used to work with me, who works at another company. I was so disappointed, because you're better than this, but it's because you don't have the right mentorship and leadership above you. I'm going to fix that. You're going to get back to my standards. That's why I brought in 2 people that used to work with me that are just, killers, and they know exactly what it takes. They drove all the way out there 3 hours south on a Sunday night so they can show up there Monday morning at 8 o'clock and see, what do we look like in the morning? Are we ready to go to work? What time? I found out one property doesn't open until 10 o'clock. I had no idea that was going on. I found out other properties don't have models. I believe in the model. You got to have a controlled model, right? Where everything looks the way you're representing your brand. These are my finishes. You can't just have a vacant unit. You got to have a model. Right. Somewhere along the way, somebody removed the model. Did not know that. So I'm going back to basics now that I had this management company. I'm going to train this management company to be better. I promise you, they're going to win as much as I'm going to win from them. They're going to be a better management company, because I'm the best owner there is out there. I know who I am. That's why I have the skins on the wall. That's why I'm the only 2-time national owner of the year. I know what it takes. I just cannot be everywhere anymore. Right. I'm too big now, but I got to get the people in the right spots that emulate my soul, my spirit. so they can go out there. And I'm telling you, I brought these guys back, and the first event was the Christmas party we had on Saturday, and man, it felt like home again. Everybody remembered it because I have a lot of people who came in different times, right? But these were like the guys that were out in the field. They tell the stories that everybody either documents the stories or reports the stories, and everybody's just remembering all this, right? It was such a great culture blast. It really was that blast from the past of what we used to be like. And we're going to get to there, and we're going to get there real fast now because I do have this 800-pound gorilla that has that processes and the procedures that I didn't have. I was mom and pop. I went really fast. I didn't document everything. I didn't have the procedure. It was all in one person's head. And when those people leave, you lose that quality standard with you. Right. So we now have it back, or now we're beginning to have it back.
What are you mentioned early on in this episode that replacing air conditioners is one of the things that you guys do. What are some other things you feel like you have done that have led to getting the National Apartment Association Award twice?
Well, again, the air conditioner is a big deal, right? Because people, you don't want to move out. You make all your money when people renew, not when they move in. It costs you money when they move in. Right. You got vacancy loss, you got marketing costs, you got make-ready expenses, a variety of other things that you have that you don't even think about. But if they renew, you don't lose. You make $50,000 on NOI. Because roughly $3,000 to $4,000 of NOI divided by a cap rate, you're anywhere between $50,000 to $80,000 depending on what cap rate you use, right? So that gets you what you need. That gets you the refinance numbers later on. Then you have great reviews because people are like, man, they put a brand new air conditioner in my unit. Somebody, if it's 85 degrees outside and it's 80 degrees in your apartment, you're going to move
for sure. And
we're in Houston; it's 105 outside most days. Right. So that air conditioner needs to be brand new. Most renters don't get that. They never get a brand new air conditioner. So when I'm doing my big rehab, I make sure that every single resident gets a piece of the pie. They have a little bit of skin in the game so they don't feel like I'm only taking care of the new residents or only taking care of this. They're going to get something tangible in their thing. And then I'm going to make sure that when I come for renewal, I take my white pad with me. I'm like, hey, let's talk your renewal. I'm going to deliver it in person. And they're going to fight me, of course. But then I'm like, hey, well, I'm going to change this out. I'm going to change that. I'm going to update that. And like, okay, I'll renew for $100 because you just put a new air conditioner in, or you just maybe updated my appliance, or you take care of this hole in the wall for free that I did, right? Me as the renter, that I did that. Now you're not going to charge me. You're going to do it for free as part of signing the new renewal, right? It's adding a human piece. That's what I do. I bring heart and I bring the sales component. Let me create value for you so you have no choice. I guilt trip you into staying because you're not going to get this anywhere else.
Right.
And that's what it is. So I got to get what's in my head and my heart into my people's hearts and heads. And they do that. I don't want you sending an email with a renewal offer like you're a faceless name, just a number. I need you to go knock on that door. Right. I need you to walk through the renewal with them. I need you to make them feel important. Let them talk to you, and then get them to do a review online so that other people realize, hey, this is a great company. See, we got to get back to a lot of that. That's what made us great. That's why I was a 2-time National Owner of the Year. At one time, I had 20 properties, and I had 4 that were ranked in the top 1% for resident satisfaction. That's 20% of my company. I mean, that's 25% of my company right there. That was a big deal. Actually, not 4, it was 5. Excuse me, 5. That's what I'm doing now. It was 20% of my portfolio was ranked in the top 1% for resident satisfaction. And it's because we had that mindset here, and then it gravitated to the next level of leadership, and it made its way down. And I'm going to get back to that.
I absolutely love it. Robert, thank you for taking the time to come on the show today and just tell us your journey and really tell us the things that set you apart, how you guys have won the awards you've won, the way that you have built and grown your company, and then taking it back to its roots. I think it's been a fascinating story to learn and hear from you on all of this. Has been absolutely awesome to have you come on the show today. If our listeners want to get in touch with you or learn more about you, what is the best way to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times people say, oh, I think I missed the boat. I was like, you're right. You probably should have invested yesterday. But the next big time is to invest today.
Right.
But before you invest in anything, invest in yourself. Get education, get mentored, get somebody to send you the map. Get somebody to say, hey, here are my errors. These are the fires that I went through. Don't go that way. Here's the way through the map. Here's the way through the forest. Here's the map. Here's the lantern. Don't go that way. The snakes are over there. Don't go that way. The lions are over there. Go this way. There's nothing there but birds. right? So I do a lot of that. When every one of my messages on my social media, I try to give value as much as I can. So if you're watching, please find me on YouTube. I'm great. It's Apartment Rockstar. We got videos that we load every single day. I do a bunch of stories and videos on my Instagram at Apartment Rockstar. So please contact us there if you want to just see what it is. We get tremendous amount of value. If you're interested in investing or some one-on-one coaching with me, we can do that. You can hit me up at investing@rockstar-capital.com.
Fantastic. Well, make sure you put all that there in the show notes. Robert, thank you again for coming on today. I certainly appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Welcome to the How to Scale Commercial Real Estate Show. Whether you are an active or passive investor, we'll teach you how to scale your real estate investing business into something big.